Nate252 here, and I just finished watching the Citizencon 2014 livestream, and there were some pretty awesome moments. Just in case you missed it, or you just like a recap of the event, in this video I'm going to do a quick overview of the entire streamed event. Here we go. So in the very beginning we opened up and they gave out a few ships to the crowd, and it was actually a little awkward the way they did it. Then they showed a cute little video of like them over the last few years of them, like where they started and the growth of the company and the dogfighting module and them like, you know, expanding their company and the next great starship and stuff. Then Chris Roberts came on stage and he showed us a video where he gave us a tour of the Santa Monica office and the team introduced themselves. There were a lot of mentions of the Carrack, of them like working on it and stuff and thinking that was a fun ship. And the Santa Monica office is mostly responsible for the shipbuilding and the first-person shooter module. Then there was a spotlight on the Manchester office, where they showed a large facility as part of a huge level that they'll be releasing in Squadron 42, which looked pretty awesome, and they made sure you knew that it wasn't finalized. They also talked about in some future patches that we'd be able to turn off specific systems of our ship, like engines, so you could hide from people or something. We also talked about smart objects, or things that your character can interact with, like a bench or a cup or something. And they showed a simple bar of what I'd assume would be in the Persistent universe, or maybe even Squadron 42, some characters walking around and sitting down. So Manchester is responsible for Squadron 42, Arena Commander, character modeling, and capital ships. Then Chris announced that the full version 1.0 of Arena Commander will be out this year, which will double the size of our current maps, just to give more room and to add the possibility for more evasion. And in 1.0, there'll also be more map improvements, better lighting, added materials, improvements to the raceway, and the proximity warnings. Also, there'll be a new missile guidance system and radar, and new weapons and ship parts. Also coming out soon is version 0.9.2, where they'll be adding a more hardcore dynamic targeting system approach, and that should be out in the next few weeks. Then they showed the Cutlass commercial, which was pretty fun, which showed, from what I know, the first cinematic of a Van Duel pilot, and it featured the Cutlass being very acrobatic and flying around being BA, and at the end it revealed it was a female pilot. And I'm not only surprised just by being a female, but also hinted that we'll be able to be female characters soon. And then they announced that the Cutlass variants were out today, black being the standard Cutlass, red being the medic variant, and blue being a police/bounty hunter variant that's generally just stronger and is limited edition. Then they did an overview of Turbulent Studios, where they mostly work on the website, the star map, the Galactopedia, Organizations 2.0, which includes a friend list, and they'll be revamping the front page of the website along with other website improvements. Then they went over the Montreal, Canada office, where they work mostly on planet design, hangar design, and the lore. And then they announced that the Origin 890 Jump is now available, which is a large, multi-deck, yacht-looking ship. Looks pretty awesome, actually. And finally, office-wise, they went over the Austin, Texas office. Crew introduced themselves and talked about that they mostly go over the servers, online operations, and my personal favorite, the Persistent universe. A lot of people are excited about the Persistent universe. They briefly showed a galaxy view, which I don't know if it was necessarily just for their development or something that we can do, but he was showing the galaxy with like a bunch of star systems, and he could zoom in and see the star system and then see all the planets surrounding it, and it looked pretty sweet. They mentioned that you'll be able to get exhausted and intoxicated, and they talked a lot about NPCs and like how a bartender wouldn't just be sitting behind the bar and tending it. If the like floor got dirty or whatever, he'd go out and sweep the floor. Like the AI would be smart and make logical decisions based on what's happening. Also, they announced that the next thing that they're planning on is you being able to leave the hangar so you can explore the planet, which I'm totally excited for. Then they showed probably the most exciting part of the presentation, which was the multi-crew / Persistent Universe demo, which featured a crew of 3 on the Constellation. It showed the Constellation warping in and doing the landing sequence onto the planet, which was pretty sweet. And then actually landing on the planet, and just the graphics and level of detail was astounding. It showed the cargo came down. It showed NPCs coming out to like help remove the cargo, I guess, and then it showed the captain or whatever, the character, the player, walking into the building there. And there was, I remember specifically, there was like a security guy, and he was like running a check, part of the UEE, and like the way he was talking, I just really liked the immersion of security checkpoint guy. It sounded like he has been sitting there all day and he was tired of working, and he was running through the same rigmarole.
By entering Area 18, you agree to abide by all laws and regulations set by ArcCorp and the UEE. Any violation will result in immediate prosecution.
Anyway, so he goes through this checkpoint, and then he goes out to like this marketplace, and he looks around the marketplace a little bit and goes in the repair shop, and they didn't have too much to show, but it was awesome and gave you a real feel of how epic and detailed and immersive this game really will be. The other thing I was excited about was just that they laid out a roadmap of what will come out when and kind of when they're shooting for it. Late 2014, Arena Commander 1.0 will be released. Then early 2015, the first-person module will be released. Then throughout 2015, and who knows when overlapping into 2016, if at all, the planet-side module, followed by Arena Commander 2.0, which will feature capital ships, cargo run missions, and multi-crew gameplay, followed by Squadron 42 Chapter 1 and the Persistent Universe Alpha. And while the Persistent Universe Alpha is going, more Squadron 42 chapters will be released. And then the full game. Then Chris Roberts went over a brief timeline showing that when the game was started on October 10th of 2012, there were only 5 devs, $0 funding, 3 ships, 7 people. Then it jumped up like a lot the next year. I'll have the numbers up on the screen. And then it jumped up even more to today, and how like the progression was just phenomenal from day one. Then finally, he just announced that all this week, every trainer ship will be available in Arena Commander. So if you only bought a 300i and usually would fly the 300i trainer in Arena Commander, you can do a Hornet or 350R or something. So I know I'm going to be flying the 350R to see what that's like. That was all my notes from the live stream. I am really, really excited for what Persistent Universe stuff that's coming out. The Arena Commander 1.0 and 2.0 sound really exciting also. I just can't wait till we can leave our hangar and start exploring the world little bit by little bit until we got that full Persistent Universe epic Star Citizen that we're all looking for. Thanks for watching this video. I will continue to release Star Citizen videos all throughout the beta and into the game itself, including Star Citizen lore videos. So make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.